Hello Internet, this is Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, bringing you another Transformers review. And I'm reviewing out of the Studio Series today, and last but certainly not actually, come to think of it, last, and he certainly is the least. This is definitely my least favorite of the Studio Series. This is Crowbar, and Crowbar actually looks pretty good in his robot mode. If you've got the dreads, if you're collecting the dreads, they took one dread that came out in the Dark of the Moon line, and then they minorly remolded him to be in the Last Night line, and then they have minorly remolded him again to be in the Studio Series line. Unfortunately, the minor remolding they did for the Studio Series line was pretty much the addition of these things, which A, are distinctive for the character, and B, a total pain in the ass to transform him. In fact, I don't know that I'm actually going to get him into his alt mode. This will be a first for me. I've always been able to transform my figures before, but I've never actually successfully transformed this figure. We'll have to see. In terms of posability, his head is on like a double joint, so you can be like, I do like his face sculpt. He's got like multiple pieces that build up his head, and they fit together to make some really interesting looking little gaps in his fangs that can poke his eyebrows. He's got these like 8 eyes picked out in red. It looks good. It looks cool. I think that's one of the things about it that I like. His shoulders are on the ball joint. They're also kind of on a hinge here. You can rotate them around. You can bicep them around. You can bend them at the elbow. You can rotate his wrist like so. He's got no waist joint, but you can crunch. His legs will like bend hella, but like not go back hardly at all. Legs will go out, we'll say 75% of a Van Damme. Knee joint is near solid 90 degrees. Toe will go forwards and back, assuming that you get this piece out of the way, but if you got that in the way, it'll go like nothing. But if you move it out of the way even a little bit, it'll bend more. No ankle rocker whatsoever. His toes are like big and crazy. He can be like, come like he's gonna stomp you. Something like that. He does come with weapons. These things here. I guess he holds them and hits people with them. I think that in the movie, I seem to recall them throwing them around at the Autobots. Seems like a dumb weapon, but you know, we're not gonna criticize this weapon just because it's dumb. You can store it here, like so. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this guy here. So these, by the way, these aren't like bendy things. Like if they had a piece of wire in them, they could be posed somewhat. That would be great, but they can't. There is a certain amount of bend to them that's built into the molding of it. Like this is molded to be wavy. And you know, I mean, they look okay in this mode. They're kind of cool the closer you look at them. They look like bike chains. I think they are supposed to be like that type of chain. Bike chain things. It's cool. Alright, so to get them transformed up, what you want to do is you want to throw it in a garbage can? No. You're going to do the tires here, fold the feet straighten out this panel here that's going to tab into the spot here. He kind of bends in half, more or less. You're gonna fold his hands in like yay. Then you kind of just like fold him in half. You've got like a big ass tab right here that's going to fit into one of these slots over here. Same with the other side. And now you've got all this panel-y stuff up here. You've got these things here. I'm going to try and fold them all up like this. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to open this and open this. Whoops, that popped off. Just happened before. So what you kind of got to try and do, because these are going to want to fold in. Like, they're going to fold in super easily, but they need to not fold in, which is the hard part. Because you need to make sure that all of his dreads stay inside. Kind of finesse these to tab them in. And all the times I've tried this, I still can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. But this section here never wants to tab in. I think that it has something to do with these dreads hanging all over the place. But it never wants to tab in. We're going to take this front, put it down, put this down on front of it. Yeah. Nope. Nope. Ah, I got one panel there. Let's see if I can get the other one. Oh, yeah. These panels still don't really want to fold in. And, so he's got his dreads sticking out the back like this. You can leave them like that, like he's just like dragon chains. You can technically fold them in underneath, but they will not stay. They will push out these sides to make this fit even worse. And also they're bending counter of how they would be in his robot mode. So then when you turn him back into his robot mode, he will look like he's having like the worst bad hair day ever. Like his dreads will just be going like in stupid directions. I think it's terrible. I think these dreads are not, I mean, they are technically what the figure needed because he has a specific character and that is how he looked. But, I think that somebody should have, I mean, this is an issue that should have been fixed back in the drawing board. You know, at some point, Michael Bay was like, hey man, dreadlocks, yeah, that looks really cool on a Transformer. And nobody stopped to think, well, God, how are we going to make this into a toy? And as a result, somebody was like, you know what, oh, fuck it, we did it already. We did these other two guys, we got to do the third one. So it was like, yeah, we're just going to throw dreadlocks on it and hope that nobody really is super keen on transforming a toy. And that's really what it comes down to, is that if you're not super keen on transforming a toy, he's a pretty good looking rendition of Crowbar. But if you want to put it in the alt mode, like, you're going to have to deal with this. And it looks dumb. I mean, I suppose it doesn't quite look as dumb as his weapons sticking on the outside. But yeah, that's Crowbar. He needs Crowbar. Definitely my least favorite of the Studio series, and I have been a strong supporter of the Studio series. I mean, I want this to be the perfect example of, just because I like a series doesn't mean I'm going to like fawn all over all of the individual figures from that series. I definitely don't like this figure. But anyhow, that's it for Crowbar. Thank you everyone for watching. You guys are all great. And I will see you on the next one. The next one. You're all fantastic. Have a good day. Be good to each other. And see ya.